Hello again, I am Blunty, and if you're watching this, I'm feeling fairly safe in assuming you already know what the PlayStation Vita is, and that's why you're watching this video in the first place. It was with great interest this morning that I came across a news article detailing that the PlayStation Vita had already been hacked. And that happened a lot faster than I expected to. I mean, whenever a new piece of gaming hardware comes out, there's always the cat and mouse game between, you know, the hackers and the homebrewers and the pirates and the big company trying to protect their, research and development and investments in the gaming hardware and the development of the software and all that sort of stuff. And they chase each other back and forth between firmware updates and hacks and holes and security. And it goes on forever. But I didn't expect it to happen quite so quickly with the PlayStation Vita. What actually happened is a hello world hack, which is kind of a proof of concept that there is a hole there to be exploited. Basically, it's opening the door and going, oh, somebody forgot to lock this thing. And the way it worked is one of the hacker basically tried an existing PSP hack to get into it, a hack that's still working on the PSP, and they went, well, the PlayStation Vita has a PSP emulator layer in there because it can, of course, play downloaded PSP games, and he tried it, and the hole was still there, and that tells you a couple of things. It tells you that the emulator in the Vita for the PSP games is spot on accurate, as you would imagine it would be, coming from Sony themselves. I mean, they've got the inside track and all, but also tells you that through that hole they may or may not be able to get to the proper Vita system hardware itself, dig past that emulation layer of PSP. It's neither here nor there. Eventually they're going to get in, then Sony going to patch it, and then this, and then blah, it goes back and forth forever, and it's becoming less relevant for me to pay attention to, because, frankly, the homebrew scene, the legitimate uses for hacking a console is, and always has been, kind of crap. There's a lot of proof of concept kind of apps out there, and little mini games, and it's kind of pathetic, really. And emulators are interesting, but everybody knows the real reason that people want these things to be hacked is to pirate. And that does nobody any good. Oh, I get to play my games for free. Meanwhile, the game publishers and everyone making the games use that excuse to button down the system even tighter and charge more for games because they can claim, oh, well, 20,000 people pirated this game. We would have made this much money if they had bought it, even though those people may not have bought it. But it's just a pain in the ass for everybody involved, except the selfish little pricks who like to play the games for free without handing over money to the people who made the games they want to play, because apparently making a game, which is a long and difficult process, doesn't deserve, no one deserves to get paid for that, apparently. Anyway, so I've just pulled the trigger on ordering a PS Vita from Japan. I've decided I don't want to wait for them to release locally, which is sort of mid-February, I think February 20th or something in Australia, if I remember correctly, I forget. So I'm getting one in early, just for the sake of getting one in early. I did the same with the DS when it came out. I ordered one in from China because the delay between the release and actually getting it in Australia was too big, so I thought, bugger it. Screw the local guys, I want it now, and I'm going to buy it now. And so I have bought it now, and I'm not sure how. It should be maybe a week away from getting to me, I think, at my best estimate, judging by when it's going to ship and how long it should take to ship here and all that sort of stuff. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, so there's already a load of videos on YouTube of people who've got Japanese consoles, either in Japan or they've imported it, and they're doing unboxings and demonstrations of some of the built-in features and the Twitters and the screenshots and all that sort of stuff, but almost all of them are awful. And I've spent the last 2 hours just trolling through YouTube, having a look, oh, take a look at this one, and they're almost all of them completely shit. It's just some guy with his camera doing the shaky camera thing. With one hand he's got his iPhone down here, and the other hand he's trying to demonstrate the Vita down there. Get a tripod, you fucks! Seriously, that shaky cam thing and the focus is drifting. If you're going to do it properly. Get a friggin' tripod. They're not that expensive. You can buy a GorillaPod for like $12 or something. Just buy one! So you don't have to do this, and you've got both hands free to demonstrate the product. Or they're mumbling and they haven't thought out what they want to do. They just turned it on and go, oh, I'm going to do this thing, to show you, oh, why didn't that work? Frankly, it's just painful to listen to. So, when I get mine in, I'm going to make some series of videos. Probably won't do an unboxing, but I'm going to demonstrate some stuff and have a play with the cameras, of course, because, I'm a big camera type guy, and experiment and play and things like that. So I want to know what you guys want me to do. Someone who knows what they're doing when it comes to demonstrating products, so you get the information you want to get. What do you want to know about the PlayStation Vita? I've already got a couple of videos that I've done I did an interview with one of the game devs where we talked about the hardware and the possibilities and all that sort of stuff. I did another video of some hands-on gameplay of Little Big Planet. The hardware that I was using for that, though, wasn't quite final hardware, and it wasn't quite final software operating system, so they didn't let me really play around with it too much, and they wouldn't let me go into the menus because none of it was finished, and they didn't want me to get, you know, a bad idea, because if something breaks and I'm, oh, that broke, and I tell you guys it broke, then it seemed kind of unfair because it wasn't finished. But anyway, so I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to get in there and tell me what you want to know about the PlayStation Vita from someone who knows what they're doing, someone who is, frankly, far more eloquent than half the dreary bastards trying to do this thing with the shaky cam in one hand. Ugh, painful to watch. Stop doing it. If you're going to do something, do it properly. For crying out loud. Anyway, just for the record, I ordered the Japanese Wi-Fi 3G version because it wasn't that much more expensive. I went, why the hell not? Just in case, you might as well. I've got Ridge Racer coming in, and I've got Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I think is the full title of it, coming in as well. And a measly 8 gig memory card, because the memory cards are quite expensive and I'll probably buy a bigger one down the road. And all the other bigger memory cards had at least a week wait on them coming in, because Sony being Sony, there's a misbalance between the number of Vita units they've given retailers and the number of memory cards of sufficient sizes they've given retailers. And what are you going to do? So 8 gigs should be enough to get me up running, at least until they launch locally, and then I can pay far too much for a 32 gig memory card for it then. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.